Welcome to Monday Momentum on Communicate to Lead. I'm Kele Belton, and if you are a woman in leadership ready to step into your full potential, you are in the right place. If you are leading a team right now and layoffs are in the air at your organization, this episode is for you. Because one of the hardest things about leading during uncertainty is knowing what to say to the people who are looking to you for answers you may not have yet. A manager I know found herself in exactly that situation. Her organization had signaled that layoffs were coming, and she was fighting hard behind closed doors to protect every single person on her team. She was doing everything right at the leadership level. But in her team meetings, she kept saying the same thing. Everything is going to be fine. She meant it as a reassurance. She meant it as protection. And because she genuinely believed she could shield them from the worst, she kept saying it even when she was not entirely sure it was true. What she did not notice at first was what was happening on the other side of those words. Her team started going quiet in meetings. People who used to speak up stopped contributing. The energy in the room shifted from engaged to guarded. The very reassurance she was offering was creating distance instead of trust. The problem was not her intention. Her intention was generous and protective. The problem was that her team could feel the gap between what she was saying and what they sensed was actually happening. And when people feel that gap, they stop trusting the message and they start reading between the lines. Here's what I have learned working with leaders through uncertainty. People do not need you to have all the answers. What they need is to know that you are being straight with them about what you do and do not know. Premature reassurance, even when it comes from a place of care, signals to your team that you are managing their emotions rather than respecting their intelligence. And high-performing team members, the ones who you want to keep engaged the most, are the ones to feel that distinction. The strategy that changes everything is this: name the uncertainty directly, and then anchor your team in what is within your control. That is one communication shift that you can apply this week. When you name the uncertainty directly, you close the gap between what your team senses and what you're saying. That alignment is what rebuilds the trust. You are no longer asking them to believe something that goes against their instinct. You are validating what they are already feeling and showing them that you are grounded enough to face it with them. When you anchor in what is within your control, you give your team somewhere to put their energy. Uncertainty can be so exhausting because it leaves people with nowhere to stand. When you redirect attention to what your team can own, influence, and deliver, you give them a solid footing in a shaky moment. So, in your next team meeting, try opening with something like this. There is real uncertainty in our organization right now. I think you already sense that, and I want us to talk about it directly as a team. Once you've said that, share one thing you do know, one priority that remains clear, one area where your team's work is making a measurable difference right now, and then close by opening the door individually. You could end with, if any of you want to talk through what this means for you personally, my door is open. Come find me. That last sentence matters more than it might seem. A group conversation cannot hold everyone's individual fears. Some people might not speak up in a team setting, but will come to you one-on-one if you make it explicitly safe to do so. That invitation is an act of leadership. So before your next team meeting, write down 3 things: what you know, what you are still working to find out, and one priority your team can own right now. Then open that meeting by saying those 3 things out loud, and close by inviting your team to come to you individually if they need more. You do not need to have every answer to be a trusted leader. You need to be honest about the ones you have and present for the ones that are still coming. And that's a wrap, my friends. If Monday Momentum is giving you strategies you can use right now, follow the show so you never miss an episode. Remember, your team does not need you to be certain. They need you to be real. That is your Monday Momentum today. I will see you on Thursday for our deep dive. Trust your voice and lead with confidence.